fatherhoods? How we doing?
Hey, what's up, man? We're doing great.
Yeah, I like your glasses, bro.
Man, your glasses are cool too.
It's very provocative.
I'll have mine next time.
I usually don't wear mine, but I'm having like headaches today, so I have to wear the blockers.
Yeah, mine like yours, where I can see us in your glasses.
Yeah, yours are bouncing off the screen.
You can't see my eyes, right? My shits are.
No, we see your fucking eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I feel like mine got mad glare.
Do you have the blue light on your in your prescription?
I have no prescription. This is strictly just for blue light.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I have the blue light thing.
You do?
And I have the tint.
The tint. Oh,
like if it goes into the sun, which my girl clowned me.
Oh, so you got
whack. That's corny.
The transition lenses? Is that?
Yeah, she's like, if it doesn't go all the way dark, it's stupid.
Oh.
I gotta go pick mine up, but this will be my first time having glasses.
Oh. So wait, how bad is your eyesight?
It's okay. I mean, reading is
fundamental.
Is fucked up now. That too. Yeah, I put it off for the longest, but then shit is just getting blurry and I can't like read close up, small print and all that stuff. So
can we talk about that a little bit? Because I've put off like injuries that I've gotten, right? Not necessarily visual shit, but like I think I told you guys already. Like I have a boot now. Like I've been wearing a boot for the last like week, except for our trip to Colorado.
Bootsy Collins.
Yeah, I got the Bootsy Collins. And that all stems from me having flat feet, not getting that figured out, then getting plantar fasciitis, not really treating that. And then systematically, like it kind of travels up the leg. So the complications just get worse and worse and worse. And then finally, I'm like, damn, I really want to go back to playing basketball. And that's what prompted me to go figure out what's going on. Sounds like I'll be okay, but like my daughter now has issues with flat feet that we didn't even pay attention to. But she's lucky enough that me having gone through some of this stuff, I can be like, yo, we should go to the doctor and check this out versus because it starts off light. So you think you could just get through it.
All right.
But
so
now we can treat her as a consequence of my, ignoring my own issues.
So for your kids, you would want to just, as soon as something pops up, probably tackle it right away. Whereas for yourself, ride it out until
forever.
Yeah.
And then you adapt to the pain, which is the craziest part of it all. It's like insanity.
Yeah.
Think about it.
So that's the yeah. I mean, do your kids even know that you're nice plug? Do your kids even know that? Because it's like a contradiction, right? It's like we tell them to, all right, we're going to get all this stuff checked out, but then we don't do it ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, with my daughter,
I'm guilty of it too.
I think we all are, but it's, and then we use the excuse of like, oh, either we don't have time or we put the front up like we don't have time, but we're just afraid of having to go through the process of whatever it might be.
Not having time is the convenience or like it helps the excuse.
Right.
To not do it for sure.
But it is an interesting point though, like saying one thing and doing another, and then that example for your kids. Because now that my daughter has a similar issue, I'm the cautionary tale, and that's how I'm positioning it to her. But she could easily have come back and be like, yo, but why don't you treat this? And I'm like, well, technology wasn't all that popping back then to know,
right.
All that kind of, which is partly true, but really I could have solved this thing a long time ago. I just didn't move fast enough.
I think the easiest lesson for that to be learned and to really pass on to your kids is dealing with your mouth and your teeth and going to the dentist. That I learned the hard way of having a big gap before, going back to the dentist in my youth. Like, I don't need to go to the dentist. And if my mom wasn't making me go, then I'm not going. And then when I was an old enough teenager going into young adulthood, I'm like, I'm not going to go. And then my mouth started hurting. Then I go and I had 3 cavities where they had to do ¿cómo se llama?
Root canal.
3 root canals. And I said never again. And ever since then I've been I have excellent credit score at the dentist office.
It's funny you say that because like we've always been. I mean, even as a little kid and in through adulthood, I've always been really on top of physicals and dental stuff. Not because I've had a painful experience, just it was a habit that was formed by my mother was actually on my ass regardless of whether or not I lived with her. Right. So she helped instill that within me. But it is an interesting point. Like when you learn to adapt to a behavior based on the pain that it caused not to be doing whatever that habit might have been, right? I kind of use that in my parenting life as a means to teach my kids, because I come from a place where when I was growing up or being, nurtured, whatever, groomed to be an adult, it was a lot of screaming at me. It was a lot of like threats. It was like, sometimes it would be a spanking or hit you with the belt, that kind of stuff, in order to fall in line and do whatever it was. It was more fear-based, right? Now, I mean, I still use some of those fear tactics in my parenting, but not physical, but more like painting the picture. It's like, yo, all right, right now you're doing this, that, and the third, and you're not having any consequences, but here's how this can play out for you based on my own personal experience or what I know other people have gone through. Take this into account as you're making decisions that go down this path. And then I'm like, and now you can't come to me 10 years, 5 years, however long it is, and tell me you didn't know, because this was laid out for you perfectly. Now you get to decide whether or not you want to keep going down that path. So it's worked out pretty well so far. Obviously, I don't do that with everything. There's hard stops with certain things because I could see it getting out of control and really like causing severe pain or some sort of really bad thing. But it is interesting because I don't have to scream. I don't got to threaten. I just lay out the way it is, and then you make the decision because you're old enough to be able to do so.
My wife just uses me as if my son doesn't want to do a good job brushing his teeth. She's like, "You want to have dad's teeth?" So I got the old. I had a couple cavities when I was a kid, but back then, it's like that. The old school drilling and the old school fillings, and so they look like shit now. So she's like, "Dad, open up your mouth." So you want to look like
dark fillings.
Yeah.
It's not that you got like the gang sign teeth. It's just inside you look and there's like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll post pictures of it. Hey, I got a couple things. If we're off the topic already.
Yeah. Thrilling topic that was.
So first quick topic is I get back, this trip, we just went on a trip. Manny met us up. We wish you were there, Kay. We were at Red Rocks for Mayday show, and it was great.
Part of the asinine tour for oh my god, Tech Nine.
But
strange.
Leave on a Sunday, come back on a Monday.
Music.
Leave in the morning, get back at night. So that means all day Sunday, my daughter, she's off of school, so I'm not with her. Then she goes to school on Monday, and then at night I get home after the kids go to sleep. So the next morning, first my girl tells me when I get home that my daughter was watching YouTube on the TV. They were streaming it, and there was like a cartoon about a family, and then like the father in the family, and then she looked to my daughter, and her eyes were like watery, and she looked sad, and then she's like, "Is something wrong?" And she's like, she stayed quiet, and then she asked her again, and she's like, "Daddy, I miss Daddy," which crushed me to hear.
She told you after you got home, you said, right?
Yeah, that the Monday night. But my daughter was already asleep, and she had told her that maybe I might get home early and might be able to see her in bed.
Oh, damn.
Terrible that she would have told her that. But I mean, she was being hopeful that maybe the flight gets in and and all this stuff, but that never works out that way.
Right.
So the next morning, I see. So I don't know if I told you guys, I do these affirmations with my daughter. Have I told you guys?
I think you might have mentioned it, but we didn't get into it.
Yeah, so I do these affirmations with her, and I just have her say, like I hold her hands and I have her look at me in the eyes, and I tell her to repeat after me, and it's like, "Daddy, I'm smart. Daddy, I'm beautiful."
Oh yeah, remember that.
Wrong, Daddy, I'm this. And she does it all the time with me. We've been doing it for months, and Monday morning, she's getting ready for school. She comes down, I'm thinking she's gonna go crazy when she sees me. She's just like regular, pretty regular, like if I was there. And I go to do the affirmations and she doesn't want to do it. And then I notice she's upset with me.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I don't want to do the affirmation. She refused to do it. And I'm like, please. And she's like, no. And she like went into the corner and like looked down. And I'm like, damn, dude, like she really let me have it for being gone. And that bothers me because I have several trips coming up. And some of them are most of them are over the weekend. It's like at least one of the days, which I think is worse because that's when she kind of has the full day with us. So that hurt me pretty bad. And I ask you guys, and I know Kay, you're traveling a lot. Manny, you've traveled a lot. Have you guys dealt with that? And how do you deal with that? That really, it hits in the gut.
Yeah. I'm still dealing with that. I know that, it doesn't seem to get any easier, quite honestly. I mean, I think when he was younger, it was actually easier because maybe they just know a little less or they're not really processing it so much. But last couple times, even if it's just short trips, but just gets really upset and gotta kind of talk him through it. It's tough, it is tough. And then he's not mad when I get back. He's pretty happy when I get back. But the other day he got mad, which was, I don't know if it was all connected. It might have just been connected from the different travel and all this kind of stuff. But like when he got back from school, I guess I wasn't like in the moment. I had some stuff going on and it was more of a quick hello, and then back to what I was doing. And I think between that and then just the couple of weeks of in and out travel, like he started acting weird that night and kind of got into it. And then the anger revealed itself. So that was a new one for me too. I was just like, oh, so now you're getting mad at me for shit.
Did he did you guys have a conversation about it?
Yeah. He tried deflecting it onto something else, and then my wife called him out on it, and then he was able to kind of sit down and say, "All right, well, I'm mad at you. I'm angry, and here's why X, Y, and Z." So I was like, okay, damn.
And you don't want to share that with us so that we can learn something. No, you want to keep it to yourself.
No, I mean, it was, he didn't say
it's like a cliffhanger. I'm like, yo, all right. And then
no, it was really about, he didn't bring up the travel stuff, but there's been a couple of weeks of it being connected. So I know he's had his ups and downs of that, but then it's like, okay, I'm home. But then when he gets home and I'm not in the moment, like, because usually when he gets home, it's like I kind of stop what I'm doing and like it's our time, and I'm, it's him, right? And this time it wasn't. It was like quick hello, and then back to what I was doing. And I think that got him going, and he held on to that.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. So it's a good reminder of like, even if it seems insignificant, like, what's even if it was just 5 minutes of just devoting to him when he gets back home, just to connect. And I don't find it insignificant. Like, I'll finish what I'm doing and then I'll go chop it up with him. But to him, or to a kid, especially if you're looking forward to seeing mom, dad, whoever, that it means more than we think it does.
Yeah. For me, it's still not easy. Like going to Colorado, meeting up with you guys, it was tough. Like I made it a point to, like, the night before, to really, like, spend time and, like, say goodnight, like for longer than I normally would, and that kind of stuff. And during the trip, I missed a couple of bedtimes, usually I like check in or whatever, and that made me feel bad because even when I call to check in and I'm like, hey, how the kids, and then they pass the phone around to FaceTime. A lot of times I get nothing from them. They're like playing video games or whatever.
Right.
But at least they know you
But
checked in.
That's the thing. Like the fact that I was able to check in does do a lot, even though they might not be paying attention to me. So what's funny is, so my daughter, my youngest, my oldest, who is the least like touchy-feely, kind of emotional with me, before I went to bed that night, before I was taking the flight, she was the one that was like hugging me, saying good night, have a safe flight. I was like, I didn't want to make it weird for her because it's not normally how she is, but I was taken aback. I was like, oh, snap. Okay, she's going to miss me, which is not normally the case. At least she doesn't express it.
Did she actually miss you, though?
She didn't say it. She didn't say it, but she did embrace me the day,
right.
the morning after as well.
Mm.
And then the other two, like my youngest daughter, she loves to get on, like she loves to pretend like she doesn't care. So when I got up the next morning, my son's like, oh, dad, blah, blah. And then my youngest is like, all right, where's my breakfast?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Get to work. So, but I mean, that's what she does. And then she'll come later and like, hug me or whatever and call it a day. But my kids, I feel like I don't have that kind of reaction from them that you guys just expressed. And I can't say I blame it. It's because of the support I have from my wife. Not that you guys don't, but like they really gravitate toward my wife. And sometimes I'm like, damn, am I just a shitty dad that they don't like come to me as much as they do to her? Right. But I find like it's the way our dynamic works, and their expression of love is just different.
Mm. Yeah, it's
so
funny.
It makes it easier for me.
I was having breakfast with my son this morning for school, and he brought up the whole travel thing again. He's like, so when exactly is your next trip? Like, he's already thinking ahead of like, all right, when is this happening? And now my wife's got to start traveling a little bit again. So, we're going to flip the script a little bit. And so I know he's got that in the back of his mind too. So, but I found it interesting that just in the morning, out of the blue, that he's still holding on to this. All right, when's the next trip? Like, when are you leaving again? That kind of shit.
Another question with this is, do you guys consider what's best, like with the dynamic of how your kids react to like how you schedule your travel? Like, for example, like I'm trying to figure out, is it best for me to leave so early that they're not awake yet? Because this time I left on Sunday, they were awake, they were with me. So I feel like it sets up the day for like, okay, we're going to have the rest of the day. And then daddy's, no, I got to go now.
Yeah.
But then again, it's still like, it's like a catch-22. Like if you leave and, early in the morning and they wake up and then you're just not there, I don't know if that's better than if they see you a little bit and then you leave. And the same thing coming back, like I come back later at night, and usually because of time changes and certain kind of travel, that's just the way it ends up.
Yeah, definitely all things I take into consideration. Whether or not it works out, it's a different story. I mean, I know for this next trip that I have coming up, when I was booking the flights, I definitely booked my return flight to dip out mad early so I would get home, because I thought he had a basketball game that night. So I'm like, let me make sure I'm back in time to go to his game. So
yeah, I found being able to set it up like a surprise when you come back has worked out well for me. Sometimes when I lived in Miami, I remember this vividly. Like my wife would take me to the airport with all the kids. And I think that was a good thing for them, because they kind of saw me off, and it wasn't like I was just all of a sudden I wasn't there.
Right.
So for us, I think that worked out well. But like Kay, I always try to like, if I can schedule it so that I can go pick up my kid from the bus stop, and he doesn't really expect it because he's never sure when I'm coming back or what time I'm coming back. that kind of helps the situation because they're not expecting it.
You know what? You know what's been working pretty good the last couple of trips. I mean, again, it it, it all depends on the availability and all that kind of stuff. But if I get in early enough, and my wife is able to, she picks him up early from school, and then the two of them come pick me up at the airport. So it's like it's just like an extra added bonus of like, oh, okay, I get out of school a little bit and I get to
Pick that up.
yeah.
You guys think that the ages that I have is that they're just not yet comprehending what it is to like leave out of town and stuff. Like now I'm telling, like, we'll see planes and I'll tell my daughter, I'm going on a plane, and she's like, oh, and then she like, I want to go on a plane with you too, like
Yeah.
So like I feel like they don't really truly grasp what it is to leave town yet, and that's what makes it weirder for them.
It's hard, man, because they tug on your heartstrings, and it's really difficult for you to separate, their age from understanding, from you actually departing. So there's a lot going on at one moment. It's so, and I think you're really cognizant of this in your decision making, because you're really trying to prioritize what trips you take versus what you don't, right? And so,
Right.
because you approach it that way, I feel like, and this is easy for me to say, hard for it to be actually done, but like the guilt that you feel, you almost got to like simplify it a little bit, or water it down some, because the context in which this is happening is very young children not really comprehending what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of but there's more than the comprehension part. Like I'm overthinking everything, because I'm like, okay, I go out of town. Is it how worth it is for me to put myself at risk in any situation? And it doesn't go for the line of work I do. It's anything. You go
Down
leave
the
the
street.
house.
Yeah.
You do anything. And I've put myself now in this crazy mindset that it's like, I don't care about my well-being for myself. I care about my well-being to take care of my kids.
Right.
And if something were to happen to me, that would affect them. And so every decision goes with that, which is probably not really good for me or for anybody. I have become the master of one night trips where I max it's like 2 days full, but it's really one night. And I have become the master of that. But yeah, that's one of the things that really goes through my decision making and kind of like haunts me for like, okay, click, it's booked, like,
Right.
fuck, and then I start to play out scenarios, and I'm just like, I always I prepare for the worst, but I hope for the best, however that really works.
I feel like you also got to give yourself credit on the other side, right? So like you going away you could probably connect the dots toward real positive impacts on the quality of life, your sanity and health, and that of well-being of your family. So I think there's,
but it's balancing out, making sure that it's like you gotta I have to like look at every trip, like what is this worth and why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And and then depending on what it is, okay, it's in and out, it's in and out, it's in and out. So but it's crazy, because if you think about yourself, and this goes out to anybody, I doubt we have any listeners without kids, but to think about myself before kids, you never even think about all these things that you're going to have to contemplate when you have kids. The idea that you're going to be looking at the schedule, what time you leave, what time you get back.
Oh yeah, it's whatever.
The day you leave, this,
Yeah.
that, like, it's so crazy, man. Like as a single person, now I'm like, wow, that's pretty, like you're free, motherfucker. Like, and not in a good or bad way. It's just different. It's just a different state of mind that you're in when you have children and you give a fuck. I mean, I'm sure that there might be people that are a little bit more loose with how they do things.
Yeah, it's true, man.
Don't mean to offend anybody out there.
Yeah,
loose person's like, fuck that, bro. Shit. Right. You care about your kids too much, motherfucker.
I think I've mentioned this many times, and I think all of us do this. But like, having a shared family calendar, is everything.
With sharing with who though?
With your
kids?
With your lady, with your, well, not your kids, because between you and your and the mother, in our cases, will be able to account for all the things that are happening across the family. But being able to like that thing is, I schedule my work meetings with that, like any travel possibilities, all that stuff just makes it so much simpler.
I have too much of a rando schedule for that to really work properly.
Right. You got last minute things that pop up.
Like it's easier for me to just text my girl than wait for hope that she looks at the calendar.
Oh God. Now we made it a point. We're like, yo, before anything goes down, you got to look at the calendar, or else you got to sacrifice whatever is coming through.
Yeah, we do like a hybrid of that right now, but I think we've got to. There's more stuff ramping up, so we got to dial it in a little bit more now.
Yeah. So you want to talk about Red Rocks? E?
Go ahead. I don't know how it applies to this, but go ahead.
I mean, it was two dads going away from their family.
Okay. The two fatherhood.
2/3 of the fatherhood were
right
in Denver, Colorado. First and foremost, I'd never been. Have you? Yeah, I think you said you've been to Red Rocks, right? Okay.
Well,
no, I haven't been. No, I haven't been.
Kay hasn't. This was your first time, also. E?
Not my. I don't know if I told you. I've been to something, the park. I just never been. I thought I had been to the theater, but I'd never been to the amphitheater.
So definitely something that y'all should check out if you have the opportunity to go see an event over there, because it is breathtaking, super convenient as far as like the venue itself, how to see the show. Getting there might be a little bit cumbersome, but and just like the atmosphere, like the energy in there. You got this mix of like, you know how you go to a concert and there's like the music energy, and then you've got the natural energy from like the actual environment.
Yeah, no, it feels like that's a legendary venue. It does feel that way.
Yeah, it was ill. And what was cool for us, I mean, we got to kick it with Mayday, and really just like consume like a lot more than just like the regular show. But we got to go through that tunnel. I thought that was pretty ill.
Well, let's describe it for anybody that doesn't know. It's basically a concert venue that seems like it's carved out of the side of a rocky mountain, basically. That's the look of it. That's the feel of it. That's the, it's very, it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It actually, it fits into the natural environment really well.
Yeah.
Now you can go into the bomb shelter.
Hey, real quick, did because you had mentioned that their kids were there. Mayday's kids were there, or some of them.
There was mad people's kids there.
Really?
That's always something that struck me about Tech Nine's followers and
Strange. They bring their kids though. Yeah,
it's a generational. You saw old people that were definitely grandparent age, young couples with kids and everything in between, and little kids. And maybe I wouldn't necessarily take my kid, but there's something to say there. How cool that kind of is that they're all like sharing, and you see the little kids like vibing out.
Did their kids stay for their show? Do you know?
Burns' kid did, and then his brother had came out with his fiance and their daughter, I believe, and his fiance was actually, me and her had a little quick conversation. She's like, I said, I have a daughter close to that age, and she's like, would you bring her here? And I'm like, probably not. And then right. she was like, yeah, I don't know how long we're gonna stay here, and before you know it, they weren't there anymore.
But it was crazy how many 3-generation families you did see there.
Yeah,
like it was very consistent. Like you did see like the grandparent age, the maybe our relative age, and then somebody between
from like the artist music side and like manager side of it. Looking at it, that's amazing that Tech has been able to have that kind of fan base that is generational. Like literally, he doesn't have to worry. These kids are gonna, and they're gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and and the older people. It's just crazy. It's wild.
Yeah, it was dope. But anyway, so we were in these tunnels,
and Mayday too. I want to say Tech and Mayday, because Mayday those fans too.
Mayday also. So these tunnels that connect like the stage, the backstage, and like they had like a little pit where they kind of record the show.
It was the front of house. The
front of house. There you go. I don't know. I don't know venue talk, bro. You got to translate. So these tunnels, before you go in, they give you markers, and like it's because it's like, I guess, privileged people get to walk through these tunnels. It's not just anybody that can walk in there. And then we got these markers, and they expect you to tag up in there because it's like, I mean, you name it, legendary bands and artists have been
I mean,
through
the
there.
Beatles played there back in the day.
Yeah.
So you'll see a Manny Digital on the step.
Nice.
You'll see DJ Ben on the
Right
wall.
Put it
next
on
to
the
Paul.
step so people could keep stepping on his
I want
name.
them to stomp the shit out Manny Digital. Go for it.
So let me ask you guys this. The trip itself and the final outcome and then getting home, do you guys feel like it was worth the potential guilt for leaving the family for a day or two?
I think it was. I think, it was kind of, we laughed a lot and I needed that myself. And it was cool. I needed that break. Now, I had FaceTime my girl from the Red Rocks and she was like bummed out. Like she's like, man, I wish I was there with you, So that sucked. And then but it was not, honestly, it was dope just because, and my girl had encouraged me to actually pull the trigger on it because, we had managed Mayday, me, Kay, Drea, the trifecta. I had, I've known the guys forever. They, we talked about it in the content we did for Monster. They go back to the first Crazy Hood event. So to be able to go there and be a part of that show and, on May Day and also that, they had some big announcements. I think it was cool and well worth it. Yeah.
I would agree. I think that disconnect. So we feel guilty, I think, generally as guys, maybe not all of us, but us, I think we do, to spend time with our people, our friends, at the sacrifice of not spending time with our families, right? And so a lot of times we lean toward our family because there is that like, yo, really, am I gonna go hang out with my boys right now when I really should be here with the kids? And I think we gotta balance that out because it is really healthy. Like it's a recharge for us. Let's be honest, right? Like it's a different environment for us. We get to be slightly different version of ourselves. And it helps when you go back to the family to kind of give you that additional appreciation for them, but also just a charge. You get another charge.
It's a release also, Yeah, I'm look, as much as I say that, how I feel about these trips and how stressful they could be and how guilty I might feel sometimes. I've always been a big proponent of like hanging with your peoples and being able to, clown and talk shit and laugh. And because that to me is like letting out steam. And for me also, it's a part of how I generate my creativity because these are, my friends and my peers are a part of, like the conduit to my creativity and how I stay kind of like youthful in a sense.
Yeah.
If I can't get that every once in a blue moon, that's not good for my mental health and my health overall. So I do need that. And this was part of that. And Manny could tell you, I mean, we laughed at Manny's expense so much.
Oh yeah.
No, everybody got it.
Everybody caught it. Personally, for me, I wasn't expecting this, but so for those that don't know, Rec is a brand ambassador for Fly Dad. And he's been, I mean, such a great like partner for us and really like exposing the brand to his fan base. And there were several people that reached out. So first and foremost, met his stepfather, who's a big fan of Fly Dad. And he was like, talking it up and kind of telling me what he loves about the bag that we made. But afterward, I got like, messages, like people sending me tweets and fucking shit on DM, and there was like, yo, there was a few of us out there with our Fly Dad bags. And I was like, damn, that's mad cool. Like, and they were like, yo, we should take a picture next time, blah blah. And I was like, yo, okay. So like it was a really like heartwarming thing for me, not expecting to come across that kind of vibe. Right. So that was dope. And then the cherry on top was I flew United, and we actually got a placement in United in their Father's Day gift guide. So in the Hemispheres magazine, if you're
that was
United,
dope. Yeah,
super dope.
You're flying United in the month of May. Yo, snap a flick of you, looking at that.
You didn't take a couple of copies, man?
Yeah, dog, I got my copies.
Nice.
But you didn't take a couple. You didn't get one for us.
I got literally 2 copies.
It's all right. I got the snapshot you sent through the chat.
He doesn't want to hoard anything. I'm a hoarder.
But yeah, y'all. Thank y'all. If y'all listening, man, thank you for the dope experience at Red Rocks. I mean, meeting with the people there, enjoying the show together.
Shout out to the Drink Champs followers and supporters that we came across, and
that's right. That was fun.
And the Mayday ones that know about, Crazy Hood and Mayday's relationship. We had some of those old school fans come through and say what's up, and happy to see us all there. It was cool. Like, and Rec has his whole Wrecking Crew fan base, and I linked with them, and they were telling me they all got together they met up from different places, like from Canada and from all over the United States. And they met the night before and it's like a little fan club.
Oh,
and they made a banner, and all of that, it was dope to see all of that, and dope to get out of our regular environment and go to something which is needed, and especially with the pandemic.
Yeah,
we've kind of been away from these type of things. Before when we were managing Mayday, we'd go, I'd go on the road with them. We'd go to all the different shows, and it was a regular thing, and so the pandemic, took a lot of that away from us, even if it wasn't Mayday really, just going out and doing different types of things.
Right.
So it was needed.
Nice, man.
Shout out to Jay from Monster. Held us down.
Word. Jay.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all.
End on a positive note. Started guilty. Now we're feeling all right. So
no te comes un payaso. Te comiste un payaso.
Te comiste un payaso. That's an inside joke, y'all. That means you ate a clown if you don't speak Spanish. All right. Later, y'all.